build your perfect running back.
My first carry was a 90-yard touchdown run. Lightning struck.
Literally lightning struck.
Because I watched you play when I was in high school. I remember the 10 advisor that you had, you know what I'm saying, with the sleeve. You were one of the first ones to do that. You spoke with your play because you were crazy, bro.
Were you a part of the fight we had against Pearl River at the nightclub, or was that a year before you?
Still my quarterback. I got your back, bro.
Welcome back to another Shift Change podcast. Today, I got a former teammate of mine, my running back from Gulf Coast Community College, Earvin Moore. Earvin was a standout high school running back, all-state running back. Played with me. He was on the JUCO national championship team in 2007, and then he took his talents to Nicholls State, where he was a running back. Now he's coaching in the JUCO ranks. He's killing it. Everybody, welcome to the crew, Earvin Moore. How's it going, brother?
First of all, appreciate you for having me, bro. I've been watching your channel for a minute. Great content. Seen some former teammates of mine on there, so just want to thank you for having me on, bro.
Absolutely. That's what this is all about. It's just us reconnecting. We kind of just said, man, it's been way too long. So it's just an opportunity for us to reconnect, relive those glory days, and, produce something fun for everybody else to watch and listen to.
Most definitely, man.
So what's new with you? Well, I know you're coaching and stuff, and we'll get through the journey of how you got to where you're at. But just tell everybody a little bit where you're at and what's going on.
Currently, as you see now, I'm at Southwest Mississippi Community College here in Summit. Just made over a year, so we kind of laid the foundation here. The head coach is another former teammate, Les George. Also, we have a D-line coach we played with at Gulf Coast, Terrence Cody. So just laying the foundation, getting the right pieces in place so we can, build what we've built before at the other place.
Absolutely. Yeah. You and the two others you just named, they know what it takes to win at all levels. So I think you're laying the right foundation with the right people. So that's cool to hear. Even though Southwest always had our number, which always pissed me off, but
crazy,
it is
bro.
what it is.
Yeah, man.
So going back to high school, you were the man in Wiggins. It is what it is. You were the man. I was trying to do some research, trying to gather some data and stuff like that. You rushed for over 3,500 yards in high school?
Yes, I did.
Bro. Come on. You started all 4 years, or tell me a little bit about it.
So I didn't start all 4 years. I came in as a freshman. I played a little bit the first 4 games. And then I started maybe the last 3 to 4 games. They were senior heavy. Had some guys that had a lot of experience. And, back then, our district in Stone was pretty tough with the Picayunes, the George counties, Laurel. We had a tough division. And, back then, everybody ran the ball. So I was the second or third running back on the depth chart, and my number was called midway through the season. And from there on, I started every other game.
Dude, that's awesome. And then once you were handed the reins, it was just feed me the rock every time.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. So going into my sophomore year, we opened up with Pass Christian, and they had 2 big time players at the time. Traditionally, we weren't very good at Stone. I think maybe since '98. My first carry was a 90-yard touchdown run.
Oh.
Lightning struck. So they had to delay the game for like 20 minutes. So
literally lightning struck.
Lightning struck. Yeah. First carry, 90 yards. And then from there was history.
Man, that's cool. That is cool. So football, always the main love. Other sports growing up, how'd you fall into where you were at now?
Yeah, football always been my main love. Growing up, coming from a football family on both sides, my mom and my dad's side. From watching my uncles on both sides of my family. Obviously, everybody knows, my Uncle Stevan, who played at Ole Miss and went on to the NFL, but I had other uncles on my mom's side who were, they were very good as well. One was a corner receiver. The other one was a running back, my Uncle Joe. And that's who I really wanted to be like growing up. He wore 26. That's back when Stone had those Wolverine helmets.
Yep.
Like that's who really made me want to play running back. I wanted to play safety like my uncle growing up until I watched my Uncle Joe play. And that's who really wanted me, made me want to play running back.
Yeah, obviously, like, just to see the tradition in the family, the lineage that's there to look up to certain people and be like, "Yep, that's who I wanna be after." Like, that's really cool to have. I obviously my family, I had an older brother who's 9 years older than me, dad. Um, we were all a big sports family, but nobody played football. I was the only person in my family that ever played football. Everybody else was baseball, like bowlers, like just non-contact sports.
Yeah.
And so whenever I became a football player, they were like, "You're crazy." And everybody told my parents they were crazy, but it was what all the other kids were doing. And I was blessed to get as far as I did. But yeah, to um, have that family support and to be able to see from people who have actually made it
Yeah.
and just kind of just follow in their tracks. I mean, it's cool. I mean, your uncle, obviously Coach Moore, he was so cool whenever we were out. I was at Gulf Coast, like just hearing the stories, and he didn't like to brag too much about himself. Like he liked talking
Yeah.
about it, but he didn't like to brag. But to hear his days from Cleveland and Baltimore, and then obviously I'm pretty sure he retired the year before they won the Super Bowl.
Yes, correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So him talking about, "Oh, if I could have just stuck it out one more year," we're like, "Oh, you weren't good enough to play one more. Like you weren't sharing the field with Ray and them."
Yeah.
So
No,
yeah,
it
just
was it
busting
was a
balls.
blessing, man. Definitely I remember all the games that we would go to as families. To watch him play in Jacksonville and Houston and Atlanta.
Yep.
And he even took like the whole neighborhood where he was from one year. When they played at the time they were the Tennessee Oilers. They had just
Mhm.
moved to Tennessee. That was very cool. But one thing that always stood out to me was the summers. When he would, come home and we'd have a big party, barbecue, he'd have all the kids out. And then the very next day, like he's out there, he got the ab roller machine, like he's running, he's doing push-ups, like he's actually training, right there at the house. So we got to see firsthand like what an NFL player looks like, what a pro looks like.
For sure.
And he definitely modeled it for us. We had a gym there at the house, so there was no excuse. We said we wanted to play, college football and have a shot to go professional. There was no excuse. We had everything right there, available to us. The weight room was
Right.
never locked.
Yeah.
It was
That's a
never locked.
blessing for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, it's cool to hear how, like, all of us, the more I've dug into, like, we get to know each other on the team and whatnot, but, like, we truly don't dig deep. Like, we just get to know each other on a surface level.
right.
Um, but the more I've got to know people, get to know my former teammates, like how we all came together from different backgrounds, different, just whether it was good, bad,
Right.
however. But it's pretty cool to see that we can all come together and try to achieve one team goal, and then be able to carry that brotherhood on for many, many years after we're done
Right.
playing, and just pick up and start talking like we never left. So it's cool.
No, it was yeah, it was different back then, bro. Like I remember because I watched you play when I was in high school. I remember the 10 advisor that you had, you know what I'm saying, with the sleeve. You were one of the first ones to do that.
I was so
Um,
stupid.
but I had a different level of respect for you, man. Because I think you broke your ribs or something. Um, and shouldn't have been playing. And you had one of these speeches that you gave everybody, like, look, I'm hurt. I better not get hit. And like everybody took pride in it. And we
Mm.
had no excuse, not to go hard as well. Our quarterback, he's out there with broken ribs. Like this little ankle injury that I got, like it's nothing.
That's cool to hear that story. Like I forgot about that, to be honest. Um, and I tried to take pride in being a physical type quarterback. I knew the way offense we ran required me to run the option like we did,
Right,
and if I was expecting my running backs and wide receivers to block when it was my turn and my time was called, I had to produce just as like y'all did as a running back, and then obviously be able to be that team leader whenever needed upon, and give y'all that inspiration when needed. I try
right.
not to be too much of a rah rah guy, because sometimes when people speak too much, it goes on deaf ears. So I try to be one of those guys that when I spoke, it meant something. So it's
Yeah.
cool to hear you remember that and
Yeah, you spoke
something
with
that
your
I
play.
forgot.
You spoke with your play because you were crazy, bro. Like this dude would try to run over a linebacker. I'm like, bro, and do it. I'm like,
Yeah.
there was no need for that. Get out of bounds. We got like 7 more games to play, bro. Get out of bounds, man.
Do you remember Kevin North
Yes.
from Moss Point?
Yes.
So I remember I was going through old film that Dad had on VHS, and I've been converting it back to digital. And I found a JV tape from me at St. Martin, him at Moss Point, and it brought back so many memories because we would be in the dorms and we would just dog him because I
Yeah.
trucked him. And Kevin was like, "Man, why you have to do me like that?" I just remember us giving him so much shit every freaking day that
Yeah.
because he was a big dude. I
Yeah.
mean, he was big. And they're like, "Oh, you let the white running back or quarterback run over you?" I was like, "Hey, got in the way."
Yeah, Kevin was a monster, bro.
Yeah. So we get to Gulf Coast. Gulf Coast for me was a huge transition. I'm sure it probably was a little bit for you as well, coming from Stone. St. Martin, even though we were 5A at the time, like we were a small 5A, and we didn't have the depth that Gulf Coast produced.
Yeah.
And it really opened my eyes to what next level ball really looks like. And when I saw players, the Dantrell Savages, Eric Riley's, TC, when TC got there that next year, we just had Brock on the podcast. Brock, like those type of players really showed me that, like, oh, you have to take this serious. And then also, we were fighting for starting jobs. And then once we got a starting job, we were fighting to keep our starting jobs because it was a battle because people were playing for scholarships. They were playing for starting rights. And Coach Campbell didn't play with that. Like he was going to play the best 22 there was. And he didn't care who you were. And your attitude towards the each and every single day was awesome to see because you were a grinder. Like you really were willing to put into work and do whatever you had to do to try to become the starter and then contribute in whatever facet it was, whether it was being a wingback or us running the screens and stuff like that. Like it was like you really put your time and you paid your dues to get your time on the field. So much appreciated for everything you committed to us to make us better.
Yeah, it was fun, man. That was definitely a learning experience. Talk about coming from, small town, from the middle of your freshman season to your senior year. You're the guy. Anytime, a play needs to be made, you're the guy. To being heavily recruited, and having Memphis and Southern Miss, and then at the end of it, you don't quite make it. So now you got to go, to Perk and play, for your uncle. So didn't really look at that as a down step because I grew up around it. I knew how talented the team was. But like when I really got there in the summer in July and it's 18 110s, after a workout, and then you seeing guys just kill it, I kind of had a different work ethic. I don't think I would been the player and the person I am now if I didn't go to junior college. Like that's where I really learned how to work, what it takes to win. Because like you just said, all right, if you had a great day yesterday in the weight room or out there on the track or at practice, Coach Campbell expect you to do it again.
Yep.
Like that's who you are. Like we'll celebrate it right now, but after that, like that's who you have to be for us here on out. And that was the expectation for everybody. And I watched Dantrell play when I was in high school. And then I come in and, I see this 5'4" running back, 145 pounds, and he probably has the most electric persona on the whole team. He's strong as an ox. He runs like a deer. And he kind of took me under his wing and taught me some things. And like we competed every day. And I had to show him that I'm just as good as him. And just when I thought I was right there with him, like he'd do something spectacular. But it was a healthy competition. It's like my brother now. We still talk. He's at Southern Illinois right now, but that's when I really learned how to really grind, bro. And I had to find another way to get on the field. Because at the first game we were playing Northwest, and I think we were beating them 55-0. I still hadn't got in. It's 8 minutes to go. And I think I rushed for like 98 yards in the fourth quarter. Everybody was celebrating. I was hot. I was pissed because I should have been out there. And
Sure.
same thing happened the second game. We played Holmes. We blowing them out. I get out there at the start of the fourth quarter. I have another 85-yard game. And then my time started to increase, but Larry said, look, bro, if you want more carries, like they see what you're doing on offense, like get on kickoff. I said, they didn't put me on kickoff. He said, what's stopping you from going out there? I said, nothing. So came to practice. I just went out there. Somebody didn't go out. I just went out there. And we were playing East Central, and we kicked the ball. I think we sky kicked it, and the guy fumbled it. And I'm talking about I smoked him. Smoked him. Like today I would have been ejected. I smoked him. Well, 2 games later, I started the homecoming game versus Colin, just from getting better every week and then showing coach that I'm unselfish. That was his big thing, being unselfish and getting better every day. Being on punt and being on kickoff, that's what led me to, starting homecoming as a freshman in my hometown.
Yeah, I remember every bit of that because Coach Campbell, he didn't care who you were. He like you said, once you set the standard for yourself, he was expecting you to hold that standard every single day, every single period, no matter what it was, and make yourself accessible to the team, however that may be. And that's what I talk to a lot of guys. The NFL draft is coming up, and then back when I was strength coaching, we would always talk. And guys like, Coach, I'm a running back. How do I get on the field? I'm like, hey, you need to be able to block.
Yeah.
Like running backs in the league block. I said, everybody's fast, everybody's agile, everybody can run the ball. But what separates you from everybody else? I said, you need to block and you need to be willing to play special teams. Because if you can get on a 53-man roster playing special teams, then you're just giving yourself more days to show what you're worth on practice squad or whatever.
Exactly.
And some of the guys that I play, I coached, they took that to heart, and it really made a big difference. And you were, without having to be truly told, like you were willing to find your access to the field, however it may be. But man, freaking, we had some dudes,
bro,
like legit dudes.
Crazy.
Larry, man, I love Larry. I haven't talked to Larry, and man, it's gonna make me sound old. Let's see, hell, we're coming up on almost 20 years.
Yeah,
since I graduated Larry, Gulf Coast.
Now, as a player, I'm not gonna get on here and say I absolutely loved him, because I kind of hated him a little bit, because this is what Larry would do before practice. He would come in and be loud and tell all the guys on the first team defense, like, I'm going to run you over today. I'm going to run you over today. You're trash. But he didn't go against the number 1 defense. I did. So I'm like, bro, you're getting them pissed. They're going to be hitting me. Like, so like, I would get mad at him, like, bro, leave them dudes alone, bro. Like, but it made me better, though, because I went against, that defense had 7, 8 guys that end up going to the NFL.
Yeah.
So it made it my sophomore year. It was easy.
Man, that's fun. So obviously we're reliving the Gulf Coast days. What's some stuff you remember from Coach Campbell and Coach Huff and them? Obviously your uncle, Coach Moore. It's like, do you have any stories you remember specifically? Like, we all remember Coach going into his Hulk Hogan mode. It's just a staple. But
man, there's so many. I could probably write a book, because
we should do that. We should all just put the stuff we remember, and we should just put it on a book.
I'm one of the few that's played for him and then turned around and coached with him. So I've seen both sides of it. And as a player, I'm like, he's making it up. Like, there's no way. But then as a coach, he's like, you can't make it up, bro. The stuff that he would say. Like, I remember we're getting ready to play Pearl River. They're 3-0, we're 3-0. And T-Hop, Demetrius Hobson, he's late to a meeting. The late night meeting, Wednesday night, where we watch the film, we clap, call out the play. Everybody say their responsibility. So he's hot. Campbell did not play late to meetings or earrings at that time. It was no. And so he's going off on that. My starting super back is late. Biggest game of the year, because it's the next one. Can't believe it. The next person that walks through that door late, I'm cutting them. So we looking around, making sure nobody else is late. And then somebody knock on the door. We like, oh my God, who is that? Well, it's Miss Campbell. It's Miss Campbell. So he like, who is it? He like, Coach, like, it's your wife. What? So he walks up and she's like in a panic. She said that the washers were flooding the house and she didn't know what to do. So he told her, he said, hey, I got Pearl River tomorrow. He said, go to the field house. They got 2 good washers up there, and close the door. Boom. I said, oh, yeah, he different level. He's different. He's different.
Oh man. Yep.
But,
Oh, dude.
now, as a coach, I have many stories, but one that rings a bell. So I wanted to recruit. Like I wanted to go out and find players. It's my first year coaching. So I came in at the summer, so the roster was already set my first actual year. So I didn't get to recruit. But going to that fall, you know, all the old heads, Coach Davis, who was well known, you know, across the Southeast region. My Uncle Steven, Coach Huff had the coast and, you know, parts of Jackson. So everybody had their own areas. I didn't have an area. You know, I wanted to show them, like, I can do this. I didn't have any idea what I was doing, but I wanted to show them I had some value. So Coach Campbell area, he had the whole state, but his baby was the Delta. You know, he had the Delta. He coached at Delta State. He had former players that were head coaches up there. So he was like, you want to recruit, huh? You want to get out? I'm like, yes, sir. All right, meet me at the office, 4:30. A.M.? Like, man. So I met him at the office. He had that Oldsmobile, the white Oldsmobile.
Yep.
He also had the Suburban, I think. But this trip, we were in the Oldsmobile. So we go up, we hitting every school. Like we stayed at each school maybe 10, 15 minutes, but we're getting data, getting information. And so it's about, you know, 1 o'clock. He's like, you hungry? I'm like, I'm starving. I didn't eat breakfast. You know, all he had was a Mountain Dew. I think back then he used to dip like maybe Skol or something like that. I said, yeah, Coach, I'm a little hungry. So we were in Cleveland. So we stopped at this gas station. It had like a Hardee's attached to it. He's like, I'm going to go in here and grab us something to eat. So I'm starving. I'm thinking he's going in there to get, you know, 2 hamburgers, some fries or something like that.
Sure.
Coach comes out with 2 Mountain Dews and 4 packs of crackers. And we keep rolling. But nah, he ended up giving me that area. And I end up, you know, getting some big time players from up there. That, you know, end up going Division I. Travion Shannon, you know, came down with us. Years later, he went to UTSA, got Vontae Dorsey from up there, went to Texas Tech. He's a business owner now. So that kind of helped build the pipeline that we currently use right now in the Delta. But yeah, that was a funny story, man. He came out with 2 Mountain Dews and 4 packs of crackers. Dude,
that's Coach Campbell. For anybody that doesn't know him, that's a perfect story. Just hell, brother, we take no days off, and we'll get by on whatever it takes. Them freaking dog days in the morning, the workouts, like you said, them 110s. Dude, I was so scared of those 110s because I wasn't fast enough. Like I felt like I wasn't fast enough. You know, you play the mental games in your head, but then you got TC out there running with my group instead of his D-line, O-line group and making our times look easy at 415 pounds. And then you got the DBs and wide receivers out there racing each other, making 14 seconds look like it's nothing. So it's just a special breed we had around us, man.
2 things made me a man, like from my junior college days. Those boxes, those blue boxes that gave everybody.
Oh my gosh.
Those boxes. I still have scars on my knees right now, my shins. And dog fights.
Yep, dog fights.
Dog fights. Like I don't like it give me gas right now thinking about it.
Yep.
Like it was because one year we did it in the gym.
Yep. And it was hot.
Hot. And then he recorded it and he went back and watched it. You know?
See if you were lazy and loafing.
Yeah, man.
Oh.
So, you know, I tore my ACL going into my sophomore year. So I redshirted a year. So I had to do 2 dog fights.
Yep.
That's all I was thinking about. I wasn't worried about offers, like, you know, because I had just got offered by University of Houston in Oregon going into my sophomore year in the spring. And I tore my ACL. Yeah, I'm discouraged. I'm like, I am not doing another dogfight. Like that's the only thing that I was thinking about. I'm not doing
Man, I'm
another.
sweating just thinking about it. Gosh, dang, man, they were brutal, man. It was
Man,
you can't even like. I'm thinking about it. I if we were to just to describe it, it wouldn't do it any justice to how the intensity was and just nonstop. Just whatever station you were at, it was. I
yeah.
mean, brutal.
Yeah, I put it to you like this. I had a brief stint in law enforcement, so I had to go to the police academy. And I would do the police academy again before I go and do dogfight.
1,000%. I wasn't on the police side. I was on the fire side, but
Yeah,
1,000%.
I would do that again. 8
Yeah.
weeks. I would do that again before I do dogfight. And we still had to work out and run that evening,
Yeah.
you know?
And then try to stay awake in class and look
Yeah.
like we meant they're supposed to be there. And
So
oh man, good times.
walking along those lines, where I'm at now, these guys don't know it yet, but they're going to get a little taste of it before we do spring ball. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Good luck to them. If
Yeah.
if your boys are watching, good luck to y'all. And I hope if it's 1/10 of what we had, it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
Like, man, that's cool. That's tradition that you're getting to carry on throughout your legacy as a coach now. And it's one of those things that, we always say, I'm never going to make you do something that I've never been able to do or had to be put through. So you can definitely say you had, I'm really all three of y'all on the coaching staff that we mentioned earlier can be like, yeah, we went through this.
Yeah.
And we survived and made us better on the backside. So you national championship team, and were you injured that entire year?
Yeah, so I was injured that year.
Okay.
So I tore my ACL spring game going into my sophomore year. I was the guy. Like I had tore it up that day. I was done for the day. We had another running back that had a visor on. Somebody smoked him and cracked his visor. So I go back in because, we chirping, we going at it. I had already ripped him, earlier that day.
Yep.
And then we run 15-2, going towards the field house. And I'm cutting inside the tackle, and I thought I just slipped. But cleat got hung up, and I just knew something wasn't right. And that kind of ended the scrimmage that day. And
That
so the day before, I had just got offered from Oregon and University of Houston. The same guy that offered and signed Blair Phillips offered me.
Blair Phillips, dude, I was trying to remember his name because I played with a guy, Jarius, at Belhaven, and I remember Jarius and Blair knew each other, and he went up to Oregon and visited him and came back with a whole bunch of Oregon shit. I was so jealous. Yeah. Blair, I could not remember his name.
Yeah, Blair was a beast, man.
He was big linebacker.
Yeah, he was a beast. Yeah.
So from the outside looking in, that whole year, was it just as awesome as I remember it? Like being an outsider watching y'all?
Yeah, so you talking about like my experience when I got hurt?
Sure, like obviously it sucks not being on the field for a team that's producing, but like just that whole run.
It's one of those deals where it's kind of like a blessing in disguise. So Coach Campbell, I'm trying like hell to get back for the season. I tore my ACL like in March. There was no way I was going to be ready. At first I was shooting for like October. So Coach Campbell, he kept it real with me. He's like, look, I have no problem bringing you back. Back then we carried 5-6 running backs. He's like, I don't really have to use you to late in the season. You'll probably get 2 games in. He was like, I don't want you to waste a year. He's like, you can redshirt and work out, rehab. He said, or you can redshirt and student coach. Like, I think you'd be a hell of a coach one day. I'm like, man, I don't want to be a coach. Like, so I end up, Coach Huff kind of took me under his wing. I went up in the box with him every game, charted plays, and remind him of, things that we hadn't ran, that what I was seeing, like reverses and trick plays and stuff like that. Sometimes he would listen to me. You got to think I'm a player. And then sometimes he would listen and it worked. He was like, good job, man.
Yeah.
That kind of helped me see the game from a different lens. So when I did come back, my redshirt sophomore year, I knew what the O line was doing. My freshman year, I just knew my responsibility. But now I knew what all 5 offensive linemen were doing. I could kind of predetermine some cuts, not all of them, some cuts. If I had a 3 technique on certain zone schemes, I knew I was cutting it back out the door. But going back, that redshirt year made it easier for those guys to hire me, 2 years later.
Yeah.
Because I graduated from there and went to Nicholls. Was there a year and a half, and in 2011, I was the running backs coach with the same staff that had just coached me. So it's kind of blessing in disguise.
Yeah. Yep. I can definitely see how that propelled you to obviously where you're at now. So you make that transition from Gulf Coast to Nicholls. Obviously, Nicholls was where you ended up, but obviously not where your ultimate goal was. Like you said, you had Houston, Oregon, much bigger schools. No
Correct.
disrespect to Nicholls, but obviously, it's an opportunity. And when you get there, it's an opportunity for you to show your talents. What was that experience like
The
at Nicholls?
experience,
Because Nicholls is they focus on the run 95%
yeah.
of the time.
So that was a unique experience. There were already about 3 or 4 guys from Gulf Coast that were already on the roster when I got there.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of made the transition of it a little better. Knowing where to go and, places not to hang out, getting help finding classes and things like that and where you want to live. So that transition part of it was easy, but the football part, those guys, they ran a triple option, flex ball.
Yep.
So there was a plethora of running backs. So you had to find ways to, again, add value. Back then, like the B back, which was the fullback, that was the main back in the offense. They carried the ball 20 something times. And I would only get the ball on like pitches. Where in our offense, I'm the dive guy. I'm running counter, I'm running power. Now I'm getting the ball pitched out on the perimeter. That just really wasn't my strong suit. I was a gap scheme runner. So I had that offense for 1 year, and then we ended up getting a new coach my senior year, Charlie Stubbs, who was a BYU guy, West Coast offense. That was different, but better, a better fit. I just had 1 year in that offense.
Yep.
And, he kind of got it rolling that first year, and the second year was better. I just felt like I didn't have enough time in that scheme to like really blossom.
I could see that. So you make that transition. You go from obviously seeing the highest of highs, and then potentially, obviously, like you said, struggling sometime to get carries or fit that scheme that fits you perfectly, and then you start coaching. And do you find that you have been able to mold all your experiences into being able to relate to your type of players and not making players just run your scheme? Because
Right.
obviously we all know great coaches are able to evaluate their talent and then do what's best for their team. They're still going to run their type of offense or their type of defense, but you're not going to have a guy who's a scat back type runner and you're going to tell him he's going to run downhill 35 times a game. Like, it's just not his style. But do you feel like all your experiences, you've been able to see all your talent, whether it was high school or college, and say, hey, like, I can see where you can benefit and then try to mold them into the scheme where fit?
Yeah, correct. Because, like here I have running backs and receivers. I have, both of those groups. And it'll be hard for me, like no matter what my title is, wherever I'm at, it's going to be hard for me to give up running backs. That's my baby.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, most definitely, because you got to think the guys that we play with, at Gulf Coast, we had some very, very good backs. I watched Dentrell Savage. I seen Larry Warner. And then the guys I played with, the Vic Ballards, the Demond Washingtons, Jamal Youngs, Brandon Johnson, Trey Hobson. Like, so all those guys had different skill sets.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not just looking for one type of, when we're talking about running backs, I'm not looking for one type of style. I like to get, backs that can do different things and complement each other. Because that's the goal. You want to have defenses to where they can't key on certain things because all your backs can do the same thing.
Yep.
I want them all to be kind of good at something, but then elite at another deal, whether it's pass pro, catching out of the backfield, running wide zone, making defenders miss in space. Like, I want everybody to be elite at least one thing. So I know, we're kind of getting ahead, but the roster that we kind of put together this year, we back.
Man, that's fun to see. And I'll be honest, for probably 6 or 7 years, I didn't follow high school football. I didn't follow JUCO. I watched college football just on TV or whatever. But I just kind of shut the game out. Like I just, different phase of my life, going through some stuff, whatever. I just didn't want nothing to do with like reflection.
Right.
And now that the last couple of years being around the Firehouse guys I've got some guys at the Firehouse who love it. Like they are like, I'm like, y'all are recruiters and y'all are just talking at the kitchen table.
Yeah.
And they know so-and-so from whatever school and that they're going to this school and they're going to be this type of player. I'm like, damn, y'all know so much about the players. And it's got me back into, that feel of like I was when I was coaching and recruiting at Belhaven, and then being a strength coach and just buying into the guys. So I'm excited to obviously reconnect with you and other guys that are coaching and follow y'all's journey throughout this upcoming season and just be able to have a little skin in the game. And I definitely plan to try, like I've said in the past, I'm gonna try to make a JUCO tour and
Yeah.
throughout the season and just do an episode at each JUCO and highlight the games and whatnot and just maybe, spotlight some players and just make some fun out of it.
Yeah, that'll be cool, bro. You need to do that, man.
Okay.
You need to do that.
So running back's your passion. I'm gonna put you on the spot. Mount Rushmore running backs of your Mount Rushmore. Give me your top 4 running backs.
Okay. So I'll give you, obviously, there's some guys like before my time that I didn't get to really watch, like Gary Payton. Walter Payton. I'm tripping. Walter Payton, the Earl
Supersonics
Campbells.
were lethal in the red zone.
Yeah. Walter Payton, the Earl Campbell. Like, I didn't get to watch those guys, so
yeah.
I didn't see them live. I watched their film. But my Mount Rushmore, Reggie Bush, all right, Barry Sanders, Marshall Faulk, Fred Taylor.
That's a great list.
Fred Taylor.
That is a great list. I don't know who I would sub off of that. If you gave me a 5th and a 6th, I don't know, like,
and like there's still some like Warwick Dunn, like
kids nowadays don't know about Warwick Dunn at Florida State. That
Warwick
Florida
Dunn,
State Virginia Tech national championship game, Warwick Dunn was a menace.
Yeah.
Whew. Him and Chris Winkie at Florida State were awesome. Warwick Dunn, Chris Winkie, like they were elite. And then Reggie Bush was in our prime of us, watching. And this was obviously before YouTube was a thing where we could watch highlight tapes.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, his runs against like Fresno State and them were elite.
Reggie Bush would do stuff that your coach tell you not to do.
Absolutely.
And it'd be an 85-yard touchdown.
Yes. And I joke about it. We were talking about my playing style earlier. Like me and Tebow were the same kind of year. Mm-hmm. And I truly say I was Tebow before Tebow because I was one semester ahead of him. But also Tebow he's a top 4 college quarterback of all time. Yeah, that's a great list. That's a great Mount Rushmore.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of who I would substitute out and put in.
Like if I take somebody out, cause like Warwick Dunn's my guy.
Whew. Yep, I don't, cause those are like all around good running backs. They're not just a one trick pony.
Because you got LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yep. He was on my top of my head. I was thinking, who would I sub out for LT?
Because, like, if we're talking NFL career, you probably end up taking Reggie out.
For sure. Yeah.
You know,
just because it just didn't pan out. Ricky Williams.
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I got
Emmitt Smith.
Yep.
Sean Alexander.
Yep.
Right. And then I can go all the way back. Ricky Waters. Like, you got some guys.
Yeah. Man. I mean, even the guys. So, like, I know Jamal Charles was in Kansas City with Dantrell. And then you had Priest Holmes. Like, that early 2000s era of running backs was just.
Yeah, bro.
I mean, it was freaking Derrick Henry's all over the field, it felt like, at the time.
Yep. Then you had, like, D'Angelo Williams.
Yep.
From Memphis. They went to Carolina.
Yep. Who was the other? Who was the
Martin?
Who was the other running back in Carolina that they tag teamed? Oh man.
28.
Jonathan Stewart.
Yep.
Yep.
Stewart.
Man, there was plethora of players.
And then don't forget about the boys now at Auburn.
Yeah.
You had Cadillac and Ronnie Brown.
Yep. Cadillac Williams.
So we had, like, our era. Now it's kind of moved towards, like, the receivers. You know, that's where, but there's some great backs now. But back then, man, like, each week somebody had at least one, maybe two studs back there.
Yeah. I mean, they were so good in the NFL that the Miami Dolphins literally started running the Wildcat because that was their best offense was just to put a running back and quarterback and start running Wildcat.
And that was
crazy. So y'all are prepping for the upcoming season at Southwest. What can the fans look forward to this season coming off of? Let me say this. How'd y'all do last season? Like, what was the takeaways from last year to where y'all can build from this upcoming season? And what can the fans look forward to in 2026?
So last year, wasn't the season that we hoped for. Again, this place traditionally hadn't won a lot of games. The last winning season I want to say they had was maybe in 2000.
2000 was the last winning season?
Yeah. Yeah.
Bro, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Y'all going to change that. Y'all going to change that for real.
So the last time, 2000, 2001. So this year, we were 3-6. In the South Division, very tough schedule.
Murderers Row.
Even had a tougher schedule in the North. Had Northwest, who's won it a lot recently. Holmes, who was a play away from being in the championship game the year previous. Then we had Northeast, who's a pretty good team in the North as well. But 3-6. Played a tough schedule. Played Gulf Coast on a Saturday night at 7:00. Was winning that game 23-20. Until our youth kind of got exposed, in the fourth quarter, and then turned around and played in my opinion, the best team in the league last year, Co-Land, on a Thursday. So we had a short turnaround. That was brutal. But I will say this was very promising. I know as an offense, we had 3 guys that played college snaps coming into that season. So we were very young. Same thing on defense. If we could find, if you could have counted 10 guys on the team last year that had college snaps, I'd give you $300.
Wow.
So we were young.
Talk about fighting an uphill battle.
Yeah. But all of those guys are battle tested. They took their wounds. They didn't quit. Now they're lifting. We got guys on protein and, supplements. We're lifting. We're getting stronger. They're getting confident. And, now we're going to get our league back, So
heck yeah. So let me ask you this. I don't know, and it may be different where y'all are at. Obviously, Gulf Coast is in, a league of their own, some would say, especially since obviously what we built has allowed them to become what they have become. I always said JUCOs were Mississippi JUCOs is baby D1. It is what it is. Like, It's elite talent all over the state. But I always said that what JUCO talents were missing was a strength and conditioning team, a nutrition team. Because at the end of the day, like, we're just a bunch of kids and we ain't worried about nutrition and going to the study hall and doing what we got, the little things. But nowadays in JUCO, is that more starting to come into the rotation? Having strength and conditioning coaches, having nutrition teams, having your protein powders and recovery supplements, is that starting to become more the norm across the state?
Well, I'll tell you, it's the norm here. I can't really speak on other teams. I'm not sure what they have. We have a full-time strength and conditioning coach staff who's certified. Have a nutritionist on campus. She's in there as well. So the guys are getting pre-workout that's good for them. And then we have guys on weight management with protein. We got hydration station. So we're kind of treating it like a D1. So it's definitely, we're seeing the benefits of it. I put it to you like this. I had a running back at the break. He was 167 when he went home for Christmas. He's 182 right now. So, we're still doing the old school breakfast check in, eat breakfast.
Yep.
But we're making sure that they're lifting, they're hydrating, and then we give them a little boost on the way out. But yeah, it's the norm here.
That's great. That's great to hear.
So like right now, the guys are at yoga right now with the strength coach.
Why are you here? Why are you not doing your yoga?
Hey, I don't need to be too flexible. My days are over with.
I need some yoga to help me with my golf game. I know that. I'm too tight.
Yeah. But no, the setup is here, bro. Like I say, as a player and as a coach, we would come to Southwest, play the game, win, and leave. So I never really got to see the full setup. You can win here, bro. Like, we're gonna win here. It's we have everything here in place. We just got to put the work in, and guys got to buy in, and really be unselfish. And when those wins start to happen and accumulate, like, stay focused, because like we already seen the vision, last year when we took the job. So.
Yeah, that's part of the process, and that's something I remember was taught to us, was us buying into believing that what the game plan that they're giving us, the blueprint that they're giving us, was the right blueprint for success. And then once we bought into it, then we had to keep feeding that. And then once we started winning, the big thing Coach Campbell always stressed was like, you're never as good as you think you are, but you're also never as bad as you think you are, especially on film. Right. And then once you start winning, also don't feed into the hype. Don't listen to hell, we didn't really have social media. I think Facebook was just starting really.
Facebook just kind of started.
Yeah. So like, we didn't have the external hype of, oh, y'all are so good, outside of just like campus, which was probably a blessing, because it went straight to our heads.
We didn't even know we were good because practice was hell. Like, I was legit mad at the game, because we get at the game and like, we're just scoring and like scoring.
So easy.
It was so easy. And I'm like, bro, we about to get murdered at practice this week. Like,
yep.
And he would still find something, that we had to get better at. And every week it was always punt, but we never got a punt block. But that was his baby there. Like, he paused the period every time for punt.
Yep. Coach took pride in special teams, and it allowed me to appreciate special teams more now. I yell at the TV all the time. My wife's uncle texts me every time a kicker misses a field goal, and it's like, kickers, ... Because he truly took pride. If we're inside the 30, we're getting points.
Yeah.
And he told me, he said, look, any possession that ends in a kick is a good possession. Either we're scoring and we're having an extra point, we're kicking a field goal, so we're getting 3, or we're punting and changing the field position. And guess what? Our defense is going to get us the ball back.
Yeah.
He said, whenever you provide the other team offense when you go from your offense to their offense, he's like, that's when we're going to have problems. So he said, try to end every drive on a kick. And I took that to heart.
Yeah.
And nowadays, I think with the analytics and everything, and people going for it on fourth down. I think there's a lot of missed opportunities, especially at the NFL level, of them just taking 3 points and maybe two, 3 times throughout the game, and before you know it, they're losing by 5 or 6 points, and those are could have put you over the top for those extra wins. So special teams definitely matter, and they poured it into us, and they took pride in those periods.
You played special teams back then. Everybody.
We had some headhunters on special teams too.
So, bro, I was just talking to our kids about that. We had the wedge back then when we were playing. And I remember Deion Gales being on kickoff, and he was the wedge buster. We had Deion Gales and it was another defense, Cedric McKinley.
Yep.
We had defensive linemen on kickoff, like taking out 4 people. Like, that was crazy.
It was a crazy time. And they talk about a group of characters, like Deion being from New Orleans, like with his gold tooth, like that dude was a character. Me and Tarkon talked about in the past, Pop Jones, Marquino Seiler, like we had some studs. Jack Hayes.
Jack.
Man.
That was crazy too. Jack played with broke ribs too.
Yep. I remember, so funny story, we went to Hattiesburg one night. We went out and we went to, what was the country bar in Hattiesburg? What?
Y'all went to the Hunt Club?
Nope.
Ropers?
Ropers. And we get there and Jack is the bouncer at Ropers. And I'm like, Jack, what are you doing? Oh, I'm working. I'm like, you just left practice like 2 hours ago. Because I left practice, came here to work. And then obviously a fight breaks out. And not with us, but like just in the 2 drunk people, whatever. And Jack just, his big 6'6" self walks over and just manhandles the guys out. I was like, glad you're on my team, dude.
Yeah. Jack was a different breed, man.
Yep. I remember, so I don't know if Coach George remembers this, but I remember Les, I remember Jack. They were on the O-line. And I'm trying to think of my center's name. Gosh, dang it. We had Joe. We had little Joe that played guard.
Yeah, little Joe.
Anyways, the 3 of them, the center, oh, God. I'm thinking of the guy from Gulfport, but he was after me. Anyways, they came up to me one day and they were like, look, you got nothing to worry about. Just do your job. You're not going to get touched this year. Like, this was like preseason stuff. And obviously, you shrug it off. You're like, okay, they're just trying to, make me more comfortable back here. My sophomore year, bro, I got sacked 0 times.
Yeah.
The entire year. And the only time that was recorded a negative loss was when I rushed the ball or a fumble would fall on it, whatever. But like a true sack, I didn't get sacked my entire 2006 year.
Tough. The offensive line was tough.
They were great, and I appreciate every bit of them. Because, I mean, they're also going up against Deion and Cedric and TC and them in practice. So, like you said, when it comes game time, this is easy. Like,
yeah, it was easy, bro.
And we stayed ahead of the chains. Man, good times. They really were good times.
Yeah, bro.
I say it, if Gulf Coast was a 4-year, I'd have stayed there 4 years.
Yeah, bro.
100%.
Like, we were close, though. Like, these kids now, they have so many other things they can do once they leave practice. Like, we left practice and we still hung out together, whether it was, in the dorm, in the lobby, outside. You have a couple groups playing the game together. It was like a real brotherhood. It wasn't too much that could kind of separate us.
Yeah.
Now, they got their cell phone and they can entertain themselves now.
Yeah, we were there. I remember I would have the guys from out of state who weren't going home on the weekends. Sometimes I'd have them come home with me and we would just hang out over the weekend or whatever. Or I'd stay up and hang out with them. We'd go, shoot pool or whatever. But yeah, we definitely had a brotherhood that was special and we didn't know any better. Like it was truly organic and it wasn't forced or, it was awesome. Were you a part of the fight we had against Pearl River at the nightclub, or was that a year before you?
No, so I was there. I didn't go out, but when everybody got back, and it woke everybody up, and they come get Jack, and he's loud.
I want to talk about that, and I want to talk about the fight against Hines.
Oh, see, I wasn't at that game. I was in high school. I remember.
So that was my freshman year.
Yeah, I remember that. It was actually my cousin that kind of got it started.
Bro.
They started pulling my dog by his leg.
I've never been on a fight on a football field like that. Like, I've never been on a fight in a football field, period. But then for literally both benches brawling, and then people being suspended for the next week. Oh,
coming out the stands and stuff, bro. Like,
and then people talking shit. Obviously, if we're fighting, we're gonna go at it for our teammates, and we're not gonna. Then you have the guys who stood on the sideline and did what coach asked you to do, just getting demolished when we got back home. Like, bro, you didn't even help us out. You scared. You a punk. Like,
yeah, man. Yeah, I remember that though.
Build your perfect running back. So, the brains, the toughness / durability, agility and speed and hands. So I'll break it down. We're going to build the best running back you can. Gotcha. So, brains, knowledge, game base. Who would you pick?
All right, brains. Okay. So I go with Edgerrin James on the brains.
Toughness, durability.
Gotta go with. I'm gonna go with Eddie George.
Great pick.
Eddie George.
Hands.
Let's go with Alvin Kamara.
And then speed.
Chris Johnson.
Man, that's a hell of a running back right there.
Yeah, Chris Johnson.
People forget how fast Chris Johnson was.
C2K.
All right. Last question. If you could go back and have one, like, if you go back and replay one moment or do something, change the outcome of something, what would it be?
As a player, as a coach, or?
We'll do a player, and if you have a good one for your coach, I'll do as a coach. Well, but I'm just thinking as a player.
If I can go back as a player and change something.
Like, was there a play that maybe kept you from winning something, or?
Oh yeah. So my sophomore year, my redshirt sophomore year, playing East Mississippi. This is kind of when they had Randall Mackey at the time. It's second down, and I extend the ball over the goal line. I'm on the ground. I'm laying there. And then the guy comes by, slaps the ball. They rule it a fumble. So we didn't have instant replay back then. They go down and score, and they end up winning the game. So I learned a valuable lesson to not extend the ball on second or third down on the goal line.
Man, that's tough. That sucks.
Now we end up winning the state championship that year, but we could have been, Man,
I'm so jealous of y'all. Honestly. I really am, because we should have won state my freshman year against Pearl River, and then sophomore year it was what it was. Things happened the way they were, and we didn't even make it. But we had so much talent. There's no reason we shouldn't have done more.
Yeah, it was because that was actually the best team. That was the best team. I think we just had too much talent. And everybody had something to prove, and everyone was people had their own things going on at home, and everybody wanted to make it out.
Yep.
But freaking Southwest, man, in the rain, got us.
Pisses me off every time I think about it.
Yep, we getting ready to play for the state championship and lost to Southwest.
Did you watch the episode with Tremaine?
I hadn't seen. I seen the preview.
Man, we and Tremaine talked about it, and he's like, man, I feel like we lost like 7-6 or something like that. And I was like, I think we lost 13-6. And I looked up, it was 14-7. We ended up losing.
Yeah, we fumbled like 4 or 5 times.
So bad. Everything that could have went wrong in that game.
I knew we were in for one, though. We got back, and Campbell wasn't mad. You know what I'm saying? Like, He wasn't mad. He thanked all the sophomores. All right, you guys can go. All right, we'll get your helmets and stuff. Y'all can go. And, we practiced that week, the freshmen. We still practiced all the way up until they played the state championship game. Like, we did half line. And he told us, he said, I don't remember that. You guys will never lose a game. We went right to
I
work.
completely blacked that out. Like that's like past trauma that I don't even remember y'all practicing anything like that.
Yeah, man.
I think after that we went to the All-Star game, and then I went to Belhaven that after I graduated in December. I went to Belhaven in January. So yeah, it was, season ended, finished what I needed to finish, did what I had to do, and then got up out of there. It's good just to, like I said, to reminisce and relive those glory days. I was gonna try to name the podcast Glory Days, but Johnny Manziel beat me to it.
Oh yeah. What's funny now, bro, is I came in this profession. I was the young guy trying to prove myself to Coach Campbell and Coach Huff and Coach Davis, who's probably the coolest coach we've probably ever been around.
Yep.
That dude there, man, we can talk about him too all day. Old Pops. But now, I'm the old guy. I'm the old head on staff,
Crazy.
38 years old, and, you're trying to help, mold some younger guys, and you're like, why don't you? And you're like, oh, I'm the old head now. It's my job to kind of help mold you. And so being more patient with that, but also enjoying it because somebody helped me and showed me. So
100%.
Definitely growing in that part as well, too.
That's great. Yeah, it's same for me at the firehouse. I'm one of the old heads. Our older administration they're starting to retire and get, they have their years in, so they're starting to, get to that age, and then us younger guys are starting to take over. And we were talking about it. We had a Super Bowl crawfish party here. I do it every year for the department, and we were talking about one of the young guys we hired probably 6 months ago. And he was like, yeah, I'm 19 years old, whatever. I'm just trying to get to know him at work one day. And he goes, yeah, I was born in 2005. And I was like, what? I was like, what year? What month? He goes, August. I'm like, oh, you're a Katrina baby. And he goes, what's that mean? I'm like, oh man, you were born after I graduated high school. Like I feel super old right now.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, I definitely understand being the old head and trying to bring the two generations together and figure it out. So
nah, bro. Nah, look, bro. I appreciate your time, man, for even thinking of me and inviting me on. It's been a blast. I don't how long we been on here.
About an hour and 10 minutes.
Don't even feel like it.
Don't.
But definitely appreciate the invite, man, and definitely doesn't have to be the last time that I'm on.
For sure.
And if you ever need anything, you still my quarterback. I got your back, bro.
I appreciate it.
Reconnecting with some of our teammates, man. You have any issues getting in touch with people, let me know, bro.
Yeah, I'm all for anybody you want to give a shout out to or, reach out to. If they want to be on the podcast, I'm all for it. And like I said, I want to try to get us together and be in a room together and let us all just, joke and, kick it one more time. So I appreciate you accepting the invite. And as always, it's always love and it's a brotherhood that we'll always have. So
for sure, bro.
Yep. So we're gonna sign off every episode, just like we do every episode. Every shift at the firehouse, everybody goes home. That's the ultimate goal. And then everybody comes back. Be the reason somebody shows up for their next shift. That's shift change.